Hello, everybody. This is Ignorant Bliss, and you're listening to Julian Lytle. This episode, I am talking to Janet Wade, half of the comic creating married couple duo of Martheus and Janet Wade of Mar Productions. They've been making comics for like 20 years. They just recently put out a Kickstarter for a collection of their all ages action comedy comic Shinobi Ninja Princess. It's a hardcover collection, and I'm basically talking to her about the origins of the comic, how them starting a family affected the type of stories they created, and trying to help get the word out about this collection, this Kickstarter, to help get this comic into more people's hands and into schools and libraries. So, do me a favor and, listen to this episode. And if you like what you hear, just go to Kickstarter and search for Shinobi Ninja Princess. And hey, help fund this along. I recorded this before the Kickstarter and a little bit before, and now we're at a point where it's doing well. But it can always use more support, especially help getting it into schools and in libraries so more kids can get some cool stories, especially with like cool girl action heroes. So I hope you enjoy and, share this. This is also helped by my new Patreon that I started recently. Patreon.com Julian Lytle. And yeah, here we go. Peace. Let's get started.
Yeah, this is my palace. Champagne in my chalice. I got it all covered like a wedding band. Wonderland, so my alias is Alice.
So, Janet.
Yes, sir.
What kind of, to get some backstory, how long have you been making comics and what got you into comics?
Good Lord. That's like a million years ago. Well, I haven't ever made comics on my own. It was always like a collaborative effort with Mr. Martheus Wade. So I guess really I started making comics because I was helping him on his project. And then that was like in the late 90s. And then we officially sealed the deal and got married and stuff, and it's like I just kept doing it. so what is that? Let's do some math. 90s. It's about like 20 years, I guess. Yeah. That long story short, 20 years.
20 years. And
yeah.
I know back when I first met you guys were working on Jeddah and Tura and stuff like that. How that's like basically it's a similar story. It's like the grown up version of what you have here,
Shinobi.
Shinobi Ninja Princess.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. The starting point happened with Jeddah, where the main character Shiandri Toshigawa is like early 20s, So, and everyone in the story is like pretty much in their 20s, 30s, and up. So it's a grown up story. Fight scenes, drama, love stories, things like that. And I guess it kind of turned when we got pregnant. I guess that's a big turning point no matter what, whether it's comics or actual life,
Yeah.
So let's see. This is how it happened, okay? And it's kind of interesting, but I do remember fondly how this used to be. So at the time when when we were pregnant. Is about maybe almost a little over 9 years ago, because Anakin's 9 right now. Mr. Wade and I were like doing some life reevaluating on where our careers were going, still trying to churn out the comic book and trying to basically do it ourselves still, you know, because that's how we've been doing it. We've been publishing it on our own, putting it out on the web, trying to go on different media outlets, sending out press releases and things like that. We did that all ourselves, and it was not easy to keep up with. And then when we became pregnant, it kind of like took our focus off of Jeddah for a little bit, because we had to like get our household together for, you know, get ready for a baby, because that's a big undertaking right there. So things happened where we had 2 cars at the time, but he lent his car out to someone because they were having problems. And so we kind of just wrote that car off as like, well, that's not going to be our car anymore. We had 1 car left. So we were down to 1 car. But luckily, it was like my job was like right across the street from his job, which it was weird how it worked out that way. But we didn't question it, you know, we didn't question fate happening like that. We just said, cool, we're going to do that. We got this 1 car. We drive to work together. We go home together. So our drives to and from work are like about 35, 45 minutes, you know, which you can spend that any kind of way, gossiping, listening to the radio, whatever. But we actually were spending that talking about stories. Yeah. And what he would do, like, I don't know what he did on his job. Obviously, he did his job, but he had, like, downtime to where he would, like, do little sketches or write little snippets of a story. And then on our ride home, he'd show me, because he had this weird rule that, okay, I'm big and pregnant, I can't drive. so he would drive, and he'd be like, here, look what I did today besides work. And so I would read the stories while he would drive, and then we'd discuss them, or you know, we'd make suggestions, or we'd say, you know, wouldn't it be cool if Jeddah did this and that? And it started to turn, the story started to turn towards, like, I guess a younger audience in a way. And I don't know, I think we kind of did that a little subconsciously, just because what was happening to us.
Yeah.
In real life, you know. So he like he drew Jeddah, like a younger version of Jeddah, like maybe 10 or 12. And he drew her like in a different type of outfit, you know. And his art style was different. And he's like, well, what do you think about this? And I was like, hey, is that like a little kid Jeddah? And he's like, yeah. And at the time, we were also like kind of finishing up watching like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Mm-hmm. And so he kind of incorporated a little bit of that art style into how he was drawing. He used to draw like, I guess like a little bit more realistic, a lot more shading, you know, a lot more details and things like that. But this one particular sketch of the young kid Jeddah that he did was a lot more simplified, a little bit more anime, you know, leaning a little more anime style, but had a lot of expressive energy in how he drew her, you know. And So I think after seeing that sketch, I think I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if like we wrote stories about like how she grew up, you know? Like how did she grow up? Like her mom wasn't there, her dad wasn't there. How did she grow up? What kind of friends did she have? Did she have friends? You know, was Guardian always her sensei? You know, and how was their relationship? Was he always a, a hard ass on her, or what? You know, what was that like when she was growing up? And so we would start kind of like saying, hey, what if she grew up with like a bunch of teenage ninjas just like her? You know, what would Kim, her romantic interest at the time, what would he have been like if he was like a teenager? Was he like a jock ninja? What was he? You
What was
know?
he like, right? Like how
Yeah. What
different?
was he like? What was he like? Was he a jock ninja? Was he always stoic? Did he ever like use conjunctions or conjectives? I mean, did he ever? It was like, well, or was he always the dutiful son? How was Tura like when she grew up? So it just kind of went from there,
Yeah,
and we just went ahead and reimagined based off of what we already established. We just kind of like took it back a little to be a little bit more fun. And we just imagined everyone like how they were when they were younger, when they were teenagers.
okay, yeah. Because I remember seeing you guys with Jetta, and I remember like really early on when he decided to start, showing his friends like what he was doing with what you
Uh
guys were
huh.
doing with this, and how
Uh
different it
huh.
was, and how much more expressive it was. Um,
Yeah.
I've noticed that like it seems like you guys had pretty good success rate in terms of children reacting well to the stories.
Yeah. Yeah. We noticed like when we go to on the rare occasion we go to conventions now because we have to manage that and find time for that. We do get a lot of like younger people coming up, like people coming up with their parents, and the parents are actually like, my little daughter, she's shy, but she's read your book since like the book fair or whatever, and she practices drawing every day, and she just wanted to come up and say hi. So and that kind of thing. That kind of thing is like that's really rewarding. That was really fun um because we know we're doing this for somebody besides ourselves, you know?
Yeah. And so like over the process of you said that like the book fairs, you was able to get the first two volumes within the school book fairs, which is pretty
Mhm.
hard and a different
Mhm.
place to sell comics versus the LCSs and stuff like that.
Right.
How did some of that come about, and how well has that done for you in terms of
Well,
pushing the book?
well, uh, Mr. Wade actually he is in contact with people at Action Lab who met up with scholastic representatives and got us in. And we think like we it's so weird that we didn't think about it at first, but it makes sense now that it's posed to us, presented to us like, hey, what about book fairs? Because I mean, who doesn't remember how excited they were to spend their $10 on whatever it is they wanted at the book fair when they were kids, right?
Yeah,
That was like a big thing. You got the little catalog, you check marked kind of like your little wish list, what you were going to look for when you went there. Try to scrape up your little change and go and buy what you could, or maybe save up for like that. My thing was like the oh, what do they call it? The Choose Your Adventure book, like the Which Way book,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And it didn't matter whatever I chose. My character always died terribly.
Oh
It was like
dang.
there was no way of figuring it out to the end. But I like those kind of books. But those were my memories of the book fair. But yeah, I mean this really makes sense. Like if you have if you have books or a story that's geared towards a younger audience, book fairs, bookstores, libraries are where you'd find kids and books. You know, like I hate it. Really eats me up that comic book shops are they're rarely visited by kids unless the mom and dad brings them, right? Because there's not a big selection. There's like a spot for the all ages, and then the rest is like for grown folks like us.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the book fair, the kids, they could buy whatever they want. The mom gives them $10, and they make their selections. At the comic book shop, you know, mom and dad have to look at what you got in your hand. Hold on, put that back. No, you're not buying that today. No, we ain't doing that. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that is if mom and dad even brings them to the comic book shop.
True.
Yeah, because, you know, this is like just something that happened last week. My son is in Boy Scouts, or our son is in Boy Scouts, and I was talking to one of the other parents, and they made mention. They were like, "Hey, why don't you have a Shinobi Ninja Princess in this comic book shop that's on like Poplar Avenue? We just came across it." Da, 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 da. And when they described it to me, I was like, "Yeah, we've been there," you know. And it just to us, it's like we know where the comic book shops are because that's what we do. Yeah. That's where we go. But this parent had lived in Memphis all their lives, and they just found the comic book shop the past week.
Wow.
You know, so it's like, again, if your book is only in comic book shops and it's meant for kids, and the parent doesn't even know where the comic book shop is, how is your kid going to get the comic?
That's crazy.
You know, it's like you don't even, like, you didn't think about that, did you? I didn't think about that either. Yeah. You know, but that's something that is a reality right now. Like, comic book shops are they're not at the forefront when it comes to kids. And it's really weird because the average everyday person is going to say comic books and think that it's something for kids.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. It still has that connotation.
Right. So that's a weird mentality. Yeah.
On that, I was able to go into an Amazon bookstore. As crazy as that sounds, a physical bookstore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what?
owned and run by Amazon. And I was like, I haven't get a chance to be in here. I'll look around, and my first goal is like, let me see where the comics is at, where the graphic novels is at, and then I go downstairs to the cafe, and you got people playing with babies down there because somehow bookstores become like town halls or something, and I noticed I look in the graphic novel section, and then I was like, okay, then I look to the left. And they have a kid section, but then they have an entire kid graphic novel section that's separate from the graphic novel section. And I was like, well, this is different. And I walk over and I look at there. I was like, I see the Dog Man. I see like all the books for the characters from the Captain Underpants thing because it took us up like half of the thing. I was like, God, this guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of titles.
Like, he's getting money. Like, wow, he got the characters in the books getting their own books. He's amazing. Like, he killing it. And I'm Raina Telgemeier and all her stuff, and then I'm looking over it, and I look over at the other not teen section, but like that tween area, and they have like that book where where DC put out that Dustin Nguyen did, where it's like all the Justice Leaguers are like 11-year-olds or 12-year-olds or something in detention.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even in the graphic novel section, even though the whole thing is a graphic novel. I was like, oh, this is weird. This is interesting. Like, you guys just put this over here with the regular books. And like all the books over there was like that. I was like, oh, like y'all are yo, comics is losing, bro. Like, y'all over here in this little ghetto.
It is weird. It is weird how how people kind of categorize things, you know, when they're made to like put them in different spots. So that is really weird.
It is. It's like they put the comic books what we think of as comic books, in like a little
Mm-hmm.
ghetto. It's like it's the graphic novel ghetto, but like yo, all this other stuff that's comics, they really selling out like units. So let's put them out there with regular books. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is okay. I see what the game is. Marvel's failing. DC's kind of failing because it had half in, half out, half in the ghetto, half out of the ghetto. But man, them Captain Underpants books. But yeah,
Killing it.
They're just destroying the game.
Killing it.
So,
And that's so weird because I didn't know who Captain Underpants was until Anakin brought home a book fair catalog. I was like, "What is that? Oh my god!" And he's like, "Don't you know?" Like, what? No, I don't know. What is this?
Why would an adult need to know about anything called Captain Underpants?
I know.
Yeah, that's funny.
Shoot.
But yeah. So now that the first two books out, you guys are now doing a hardcover collection, and
Yes.
Action Lab is putting together a Kickstarter,
Mm-hmm.
which is the main reason I'm having you on today, so we can talk about this Kickstarter.
Yes.
So we can get it.
Let's talk about the
out there.
Kickstarter.
Let's talk about Kickstarter. So this is a hardcover that collects both of the first two books, right? As like one collection.
Yes, with I believe it's going to have additional illustrations and character designs and stuff that we had to like when we when we put together the first trade. We had to trim stuff down because it had to match a certain quantity of pages inside. So we either had to I'm pretty sure we had to trim some stuff down to fit it. And this is supposed to be, this Kickstarter is supposed to be with our stuff back in it.
Okay.
So it's gonna have like character designs, our first pitch of character designs. I think, I'm not quite sure, but it might have some like who's who. If you need a quick reference on who the characters are. Let me see how many pages officially, because I know it's like 300 something.
Woo!
326 pages.
Man, that's a tone.
Full color. Officially, they put 326 pages of action-packed content and a beautiful cover by me.
Yeah, you did the cover. I noticed that. I was like, usually it's Matthias with the cover, but this time
he said he wanted me to do something, so I was like, all right, let me do something fun but pretty.
Yeah,
pretty and
flowers.
fun,
Got the flowers on it like
ninjas. Yeah. I had to look up the meanings of flowers in Japanese culture.
Yeah.
And shoot, and I forgot just that quickly what kind of flower this is.
All I know is that I see flowers
but it's
with
supposed
ninjas.
to mean courage.
Okay.
The flowers are beautiful and pretty, but they're supposed to mean courage and strength and bravery. So I was like, that pretty much embodies what she Andrea means. So, and her little journey in the stories that we have in there.
So I forgot the title of the first trade, because that was the first time like you seeing the character as a teenager and her like learning and meeting all the friends, because you guys are doing the light that only so heavy. It's like I just can't forget that one. That one just sound hard. Lightning.
Oh. Lightning Oni.
Yeah,
the first one is just kind of like the introduction. So we just named it Konuichi Hime, which is Japanese for, of course, Ninja Princess. So Shinobi, Ninja Princess.
Yeah, for the people who don't know, it's like, yeah, that was cool.
It's a lot of repetition going on that title, but you know it helps you remember what it's about. It's about a
Yeah.
ninja princess.
So it looks like you guys have a nice lot of different tiers here. Like the first tier is a digital, copy, and then the second one for $25 is of course the actual physical book.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Which is a a good price for a hardcover.
yeah, it is
That thick.
300 some pages.
Yes.
You might be able to use it to defend yourself in a fight.
That's true. A knife won't go through it.
Yeah, that's real hard. So I see the next one has a poster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have some good stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was like,
what
you have one with a T-shirt, but the ones that I really found interesting was the ones where you can, if you pledge $100, you can donate 5 copies to school, or you could donate 5 copies to a library. What brought about that? Like what spurred that?
Well,
that idea.
Well, like this is kind of like going back to the memories of book fairs. If you scraped up your money together because mom and dad wouldn't give you their extra change, then you could possibly go find a book that would fit your budget. And we're just kind of remembering that there are kids who don't have anything to scrape together to even go to the book fair, so that all they could do is like look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we actually, with our son's library, we had extra copies, so we just gave it to the library to, so they could check out. And Anakin says, like, a lot of the kids, they like it. Like, there's a girl in his class who keeps checking out the book every few months or so and talking to him about it. And he's like, why don't you just go get it?
Just go buy it now already.
Just tell your mom to buy it. So I think he suggested that if she has a birthday or something, could he just get one for her? And I was like, yeah, that's cool. So we did that, and also just to give opportunity for kids who can't even attend a book fair to take a look at it. I mean, I know for me, this is how I usually do stuff. I go to a library and, like, off of a internet tip or someone I know say, hey, you need to check out this book from such and such. And instead of me just going out and buying it to try it out, I go to see if it's at the library to check out first.
Oh, okay.
And if I like it, then I actually put down money at a store to buy it. So that's how I think. I don't know if that's how everyone else thinks, but let's see, what else? Oh, I know that those little, have you ever heard of like the little neighborhood libraries? Those little structures, they look like little houses.
Oh, that people
they're
put
like
books in.
outside in the public. Yeah, and you are free to donate your books, and people could check them out or return them or donate whatever. We've done it to where we actually put a few books around town, like in those little neighborhood libraries, so that the kids could take a look at it. Kids or grown-ups or whoever wants to check it out,
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, just to get more kids to get them in the hands of more kids, because like I said, these are in comic book shops, but if the parent doesn't know to even go to a comic book shop,
yeah, they'll never have it.
to bring their kid with them to the comic book shop, it's not going to get read. It's not going to get picked up or noticed. We just want to share our stories. That's all. We're just trying to see how we could get stories out there for people to notice. So
how long is the Kickstarter?
Ooh, I don't know. Is there? Let's see. I think we're trying to get stuff done by July. It should be launching like within the next few days.
Okay.
But we're trying to get everything like done and out out in the mail to people by July.
Okay.
So I don't know how a lot of Kickstarters work, if this is like a quick turnaround or if this is like average, but
So thinking about you
it,
guys
it
probably
feels
doing it like
fast to
in a
me.
month. So you guys would probably doing
Yeah.
like the month long Kickstarter.
Yeah, it
Um,
feels pretty fast to me.
yeah, well, it sounds like unlike some Kickstarters I've seen, you get the goal is not to be a year out, but it's just like okay,
No, that's way too
you get
long.
the money
That
in
feels way too long.
and get it
Yeah.
out to the people. I think that's a
Right.
really good thing. I think some of the issues with Kickstarter these days is the lack of timeliness
Uh-huh.
and things
Yeah, yeah,
happen.
I've heard a lot of complaints about stuff like that. So we don't we don't want to keep people waiting. I mean, if you support us enough to put some money down, we want to make you happy, definitely.
Yeah, so yeah, so you guys got some good
Yeah.
T-shirts going on here, and you also
Mhm.
have one where the people can get drawn into the comics. So how that's going to work? How is that going to work?
Uh, well, I'm guessing that the Action Lab, who's helping us run the Kickstarter, they will forward us like contact information for the people who reach that tier. And Mr. Wage is gonna like, I don't know if they're gonna have a quote unquote speaking part in a panel, or if they're gonna have a fight scene or what's happening. But I mean, he's done it before. We have friends where we need like a big group scene, or someone makes him mad, and he'll draw us like someone getting cut in half or something like that. I don't know if that is what a supporter would want. You could put that in the notes. I want my head cut off. It's like, okay, cool, we could do that. Maybe this is a kids friendly book, so I don't know. Maybe we'll do a different thing, but
They get turned into like a wood or something, like a doll, and then
oh
they get cut in
yeah,
half.
there you go.
Some ninja magic turn them into something, then they get cut up or something.
Disney death scene where they just fall off a cliff and you never hear from them
Oh
again.
man. Leave that hole open, they can magically come back. We're like, ha
Yeah. For the straight to video sequel.
That's right. There was like 3 Lion King sequels and whatnot.
Yeah, I was like, that's amazing, y'all. There was a Hunchback of Notre Dame sequel. I was like, what's going on here? Y'all are getting creative liberties with the original content.
There was a Hunchback sequel? Damn.
Sir. Yeah. They didn't sing all the songs they wanted to sing, so they made a sequel.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say to the 5 folks that's gonna be listening to this?
5 people, thank you so much for taking time out to listen to me ramble. I hope I made sense. I hope I encouraged you to check out our Kickstarter. We're going to be forwarding you the link, and then once it goes live, just be like, it's live, go to it. Go to it, 5 people. Spread it, share it, talk about it in the internet cafes and stuff. If you guys have like kids who are interested in like action-packed stuff, or One Piece or Naruto or Avatar: The Last Airbender, stuff like that, fun animated stuff, because we're like our artwork is very animated. It is not a bunch of people just standing around talking. Let them know about it. We want to know what some kids will think about our stories, about our art. So, yeah, check it out, please.
You guys going to be any more shows for the remainder of the summer, or the spring and the summer?
I know we are looking forward to at the end of June going into July. There's a anime convention here, Anime Blues Con, which, oh my god, I have to finish I have to finish a cosplay for Anakin. He wants to be Josuke Higashikata from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So I'm gonna hook him up with that.
I forgot which one that is. Which is the...
That's the kid with the pompadour.
Oh, that's the one from
the
the
one
fourth
with Crazy
one.
Diamond.
The Diamonds Are Forever. Okay.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay. I look forward to seeing pictures of that cosplay with the crazy pompadour hair.
This thing, I'm so stupid. I have a sewing machine, but I'm hand sewing the whole thing because I'm scared of going too fast, of what kind of mistakes I make. So I'm hand sewing this damn thing.
Oh, that's oh man, that's the G
Oh,
right there.
what else? I think sometime in the fall, like leaving out of summer, going into fall, there is Memphis Comic Expo, which is another local event where it's actually geared toward creators, comic book creators. So, like Mike Norton, he usually attends. He's okay. Let's see. This time, Larry Hama is going to be there. I'm excited to meet him finally. But yeah, it's. I think it's like a 2-day convention, and you get to meet all sorts of creators. So we're looking forward to that. If there's any other suggestions that we could possibly drive to, because we're tight on time.
Oh yeah.
Let us know.
Sure, I don't know. Y'all do more shows than I do.
What?
Yeah, I don't go to shows. I don't like traveling. It costs too much money. I get too tired. I just go to work all the time.
Can't there be like you just log in and it's a show? Can't there be like one like that?
I'd be awesome.
Just a virtual show.
I'd be great at that one. But all right, Janet, I'm glad that you were able to come on.
Well, thank you for having me.
I know that the Kickstarter is gonna be successful. Y'all gonna get it. And
thank you.
I'm glad I'm able to help.
Well, yeah. Kickstarter. Thank you so much. Yeah, we really do appreciate it.
All right, I'm gonna let you go and go enjoy some more JoJo Bizarre Adventure.
I'm just gonna sew this jacket. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stitch a lining in this jacket. That's what I'm gonna do.
All right. Tell the rest of the ways I said all right. Say peace.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Ignorant Bliss can be found on ignorant-bliss.com. It can also be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Critical, the Movie Critics Network on Blog Talk Radio, on the Taylor Network of Podcasts, also on Twitter at IGBL Podcasts, along with my own Twitter at Julian Lytle, Lytle. You can also support this show on Patreon, patreon.com/Julian Lytle. Thanks to all the people who support this show each month. Also, check out the show Culture Trapping, which I'm a host on, and the Speaker Talks monthly show on David Brothers' site, in which me, David Brothers, and Jamila Rouser talk about music once a month. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and see you next time.
And the grass is always greener on the other side. Maybe you should come take a trip sometime. Oh, you seem keener when they turn to night. Got you tripping out your mind, baby. Tell me it's a sign as the pressure builds.